Hello, I'm Sudhir Pandey, welcoming you on behalf of Yugen Academy. You may learn English grammar with us. Active and passive voice. Let us learn this topic. First, let us see what is voice. Voice is that form of a verb which shows whether what is denoted by the subject does something or has something done to it. See the following sentences. Gaurav helps Viraj. Second is, Viraj is helped by Gaurav. In first sentence, the form of the verb shows that a person denoted by the subject does something. Gaurav, the person denoted by the subject, does something. The verb helps is said to be in active voice. In second sentence, the form of the verb shows that something is done to the person denoted by the subject. Something is done to Viraj. The verb helped is said to be in the passive voice. Let us see the definitions. Active voice. A verb is in the active voice when its form shows, as in the first sentence, that the person or thing denoted by the subject does something, or in other words, is the doer of the action. The active voice is so called because the person denoted by the subject acts. Passive voice. A verb is in the passive voice when its form shows, as in second sentence, that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject. The passive voice is so called because the person or thing denoted by the subject is not active but passive, that is, suffers or receives some action. See these examples. Active voice. Yash sings a song will become passive as a song is sung by Yash. See the second example. Hari opened the gate will become passive as the gate was opened by Hari. It will be noticed that when the verb is changed from the active voice to the passive voice, the object of the transitive verb in the active voice becomes the subject of the verb in the passive voice. Means very simple. Start the new sentence with this subject. See the example number 1 above. Yash sings what? The answer is a song, which is an object of the verb sings. Start the new passive sentence with this object sung and it will become the subject. A song is sung by Yash. Now see this example. The boy kicks. Here the verb kicks has no object. It is an intransitive verb. As such, it cannot be converted into passive. The students must know when to use the active voice and when to use passive. The ability to change the voice is not sufficient. The above voice is used when the agent, that is, doer of the action, is to be made prominent. And we use passive when the person or thing acted upon is to be made prominent. The passive is therefore preferred when the active form would involve the use of an indefinite or vague pronoun or a noun. It means somebody, they, people as subjects. I mean, they are vague. We don't know who is exactly the doer. So that is when we do not know the agent or when it is not clear enough who the agent is. See the example. My book has been stolen is in passive. My book has been stolen by somebody. Means somebody has stolen my book, but that is not important. What is important? My book has been stolen. Whether it has been stolen by A or B or C is insignificant. So I use passive construction. My book has been stolen by somebody. All orders will be executed promptly by us. It is understood. Now let us see the process of converting active voice to passive voice. This is very important because in examination you will have to do the same thing. Now we will go step by step. First, ask the question what or to whom to the verb in active sentence and decide the object. Once the object is decided, then start the passive sentence by this object and accordingly use the correct form of to be, that is auxiliary verb. This is very important, auxiliary. I will tell you the importance of this auxiliary verb in this particular chapter. The third is use past participle of the original verb. This will be always in the form of past participle. Then you have to insert by before the subject of original sentence and change the subject as shown in the table below. Means I will become me, she will become her. Then we will become us, you will become you, he will become him, it will remain as it, and they will become them. See the example, which will give you the clear idea of converting the active sentence to passive sentence. Say, example, he reads a book. This is of course active. Now first step is ask what to the verb. He reads what? The answer is book. So book is the object. First step, we have decided the object. Then start passive sentence by book. Means object will be converted into subject. Then insert auxiliary verb according to the subject and tense of the sentence. This auxiliary verb is very important because it will decide the tense, as the main verb will always be in past participle form. Then use past participle of verb read. Insert by and change subject of active sense as him. So the above said sentence will be converted into passive as a book is read by him. So three things we have done. We have made three changes. We have decided the object and started a sentence with the same object. Naturally it has converted into a subject. Then we have used auxiliary verb as per the subject. If it would have been books, we would have used are. Then the past participle of the verb, here it is read, by we have inserted on our own accord, and him is the form of he, the subject. So this has become a book is read by him, passive. Another example is he served his country. His country was served by him. They will never harm us. We shall never be harmed by them. Please note the importance of auxiliary verb in active and passive voice as under. Example, Hari opened the gate. Active will become passive as the gate was opened by Hari. Now concentrate only on auxiliary verb. This we have used was. Why? Because the original sentence was in past tense. Second, Hari opens the gate will become the gate is opened by Hari. Hari will open the gate will become the gate will be opened by Hari. You will notice that every time the tense is decided by the auxiliary verb because the main verb is always in its past participle form. So my point was just to tell you about the importance of auxiliary verb in active and passive voices. Future continuous tense cannot be converted into passive voice. Example, I suppose it will be raining tomorrow. This time after a week I will be sitting on the beach in Mumbai. This cannot be converted into passive. And the important thing is the meaning of the sentence should not be changed. In examination, many times you get a question where there will be two objects. If there are two objects, there will be two ways of constructions of passive voice. See the example. First example, she gave them the keys. Here there are two objects. How to decide the object? Very simple. First ask the question what to the verb. She gave what? The answer is the keys. This is object number 1. Then ask to whom. She gave to whom? Answer is them. This is object number 2. Now you can convert this sentence into passive by using these two different objects as. First of all, let us take the keys. First object. The keys were given to them by her. Now we'll take the second object. They were given the keys. Now, second example. Joshi teaches us English. Joshi teaches what? English. Joshi teaches to whom? Us. So two objects are decided. Now let us convert it into passive. First, we are taught English by Mr. Joshi. English is taught to us by Mr. Joshi. Then Atharva gave me a book. Atharva gave what? A book. Object number 1. Atharva gave to whom? Me. Object number 2. So two ways of converting. I was given a book by Atharva. A book was given to me by Atharva. Very simple. Another fourth example is also here. Gaurav offered me a seat. I was offered a seat by Gaurav. A seat was offered to me by Gaurav. Now let us see how different types of sentences are converted from active to passive. We have just now learned the theory of conversion. Now let us see different types of sentences. First is imperative or commands. These sentences are always in present tense. Subject is not given, it is implied, it is always you. And the sentence starts with a verb. These are the four peculiarities, I should say, of any imperative sentence. Now let us see the process. Use let, then object, and then the be, only be. Then past participle, and then other words. See the example. Bring me a cup of tea is an order. Let a cup of tea be brought to me. Another examples. Polish my shoes nicely. Let my shoes be polished nicely. Ask your questions. Let your questions be asked. Call the police. Let the police be called. Look at the tortoise. Let the tortoise be looked at. Now, another form of the passive is with the verb should plus be, or with be or get only. But if the sentences begin with please in active voice, you are requested to is used in the passive voice. See the examples. Keep your word. Your word should be kept. Look at the words in italics. Obey your teacher. Your teacher should be obeyed. We are using you should. Love the children. The children should be loved. Please do this work. You are requested to do this work. Another type, because here we have used please. Go home. You are advised to go home. Do it at once. You are advised to do it at once. So these are the three different ways in which we can convert imperative sentences from active to passive. Now let us go to interrogative or questions. Again, there are two types of questions. One is WH questions, another is yes-no questions. Yes-no questions means using auxiliary verbs to start with. Let us see both types of questions in details. First, WH questions. WH word will be retained. Auxiliary verbs do, does, did will be removed. Instead, correct form of be will be used. past participle after be or after the subject will be used. And by plus subject as usual. Only exception is who questions. It is done by using by whom. See the examples. First example. Why you do not choose Arjuna? Now see, the WH word will be retained. Why is Arjuna not chosen by you? Another is, how did they manage? How was it managed by them? Auxiliary verbs do, did, does and did, they are all removed, and instead we are using correct form of be. Please concentrate on this. Whose face did you see? Whose face was seen by you? See, the WH word is retained. See, do, does, did are removed, and instead auxiliary verb, that is forms of to be, are used. The rest of the things are known to you, that is using by and all. Then who gave it to you? This is an exception. Please see. By whom was it given to you? What will Raju say? What will be said by Raju? Now let us see no, yes, no questions. If do is used as an auxiliary verb, then it will say the tense of the sentence and will vanish. Instead, the question will be asked by the correct form of to be in the same tense. See the example. Does he tell stories? Now this does have simply told us the tense of the sentence. Accordingly, we will be using the auxiliary verb of to be form. See here. Are stories told by him? If question is asked by any auxiliary verb other than do, then the question in passive voice will start by the same auxiliary verb. See the example. Can he play cricket? Can cricket be played by him? Can I take other medicines with it? Can other medicines be taken with it? Of course, by me. Now, very important point is tense. Please note that while converting the sentence from active voice to passive voice, the tense will not change. The tense is decided by auxiliary verb. Please note this in the table given below. Now you will find here the sentences in different tenses. But as I told you, the tense will not change. See how. Active voice can be converted into passive voice in 8 different tenses as under. See the table please. See the tense, simple present. They praise the prince. This is active. The prince is praised by them is passive. Now here is the auxiliary verb which is in present tense. So the first sentence was in present tense. Passive sentence is also in present tense because it is decided by the auxiliary verb which is easier, and praised will be always in past participle, so the question doesn't arise. Now present continuous means progressive. They are praising the prince. Here one thing is to be noted that whenever there will be continuous tense means using ing. In passive you have to use being, B-E-I-N-G. They are praising the prince is being praised by them. Then present perfect tense, they have praised the prince. Whenever I say perfect, there must be have or has or had, followed by past participle. They have praised the prince will become the prince has been praised by them. Simple past, they praised the prince will become the prince was praised by them. Past continuous means progressive tense will be like this. They were praising the prince was being praised by them. Past perfect, they had praised the prince will become the prince had been praised by them. Simple future, they will praise the prince will be praised by them. Future perfect, they will have praised the prince will have been praised by them. So we have seen the changes in tense and we have seen the importance of auxiliary verb. Now let us go ahead. Modal auxiliary verbs like would, should, can, may, must, etc. It will be seen from the examples given below that when principal verb is accompanied by the auxiliary verb, then while converting the sentence to passive voice, be or its appropriate form will be used after the auxiliary verb. See the examples. She would tactfully put brief questions. Brief questions would be tactfully put by her. They can't harm you. They can't be harmed by them. I could bring her to you tomorrow. She could be brought to you tomorrow by me. See the words in bold type. Would be, can't be, could be, which we'll see the above said rule. They may not believe your story. The story may not be believed by them. Next is infinitives. There are lots of things to do. There are lots of things to be done. As I told you earlier, infinitives will never change. There is no time to lose. There is no time to be lost. You have to admit this. This has to be admitted by you. The process of converting passive voice to active voice. Its importance is that many times in your examination this question is asked, and many times you do not immediately understand that a given question is in a passive form, and if you cannot, then you will be wasting a lot of time in the examination. So what you are supposed to do is first confirm that the sentence is in passive voice. If past participle form of verb is used after to be and its form, then it is passive voice. Example, my camera is stolen by somebody. Now this by somebody is normally not given in the examination. The question will be only my camera is stolen. And the moment you see auxiliary verb followed by past participle, you must understand that this is a passive construction. Another is, while converting active to passive voice, we have used auxiliary verb and inserted by. Now we don't need them, remove them. Remove past participle form of original verb, use original verb in the correct tense to be formed as per new subject. And subject becomes object in the sentence. Exactly the reverse process. See the examples. He was rewarded by the jeweler. Now here was is the auxiliary verb. By both these things we have inserted. We will remove them because they are not now needed. See here, the jeweler rewarded him. They are guided by the sun guides them. His brothers would be protected by heaven in their hardships. Heaven would protect his brothers in their hardships. I must not be drawn into a political argument. You must not draw me into a political argument. Now let me summarize. While transferring active voice to passive voice, first decide the object. You may ask the question to the verb what, and the answer is object of the verb. Convert this object to subject means start the new sentence with this subject. Then add auxiliary verb according to the subject followed by past participle of the original verb. Then add a by, and after it write the original subject. Tense of the subject will not change while changing the voice. Please note that the tense is decided by the auxiliary verb. You may refer my book, English Grammar and Writing Skills, which is full of grammar examples and grammar exercise. This book is available on all prime sites. You may purchase it online. Thank you very much and have a nice day.